Straight ahead on 12 News Weekend, blondes versus brunettes, the gridiron battle that serves a greater purpose. Then, downtown Robbinsdale in the midst of getting a colorful new look. But first, a plan that could lead to significant staffing changes within the Brooklyn Park Fire Department. 12 News Weekend starts right now.
Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us this weekend. We begin with a big change proposed for the Brooklyn Park Fire Department. The fire chief wants to hire 18 full-time firefighters, replacing part-time staff. Sonia Goins this weekend has more on what the proposal means.
The Brooklyn Park Fire Department relies mostly on part-time firefighters, but Chief Ken Perlman wants to change that.
We currently have 84 sworn firefighters who are covering the shift hours that we've been authorized. It takes 84 to cover 6 positions 24 hours a day.
Brooklyn Park is the busiest part-time fire department in the state of Minnesota. On average, they run about 8,600 calls. The fire chief says with a full-time staff, they can run the department more efficiently.
We could cover the same number of hours with 18 full-time firefighters. This model allows us to have a much greater efficiency.
We are the busiest non-full-time fire department in the state of Minnesota, hands down.
But some part-time firefighters are worried they will lose income if the full-time positions get the thumbs up.
They could lose anywhere between $5,000 and $25,000 a year in income if they don't get selected for one of the full-time positions.
Those part-time positions would be switched to on-call positions, so they might not be needed as much.
I know several people that are trying to figure out what are they going to do if this actually goes through.
We would continue to use our part-time and paid on-call firefighters to provide backfill for vacation and sickness, but it most certainly would have an impact on individual firefighters' income.
Perlman says the 18 full-time positions would be a less expensive option down the road.
I think that in the long run, this is a less expensive model, which benefits the taxpayers.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
The chief says his plan costs about $64,000 more than the current staffing model, but he says it will save the city more money in the long term due to health insurance costs. Meanwhile, this weekend, Brooklyn Park is also dealing with a street maintenance issue. The city is repairing potholes on nearly 200 miles of streets much earlier than anticipated.
In every other year in recent memory, we're done with our pothole patching much earlier in the year and going around for a second round or even third round where necessary. We'll be fighting snow to complete our first round of pothole patching.
The problem appears to stem from a type of asphalt mix used to construct the streets back in the 1990s. City officials say it has caused streets to wear out much sooner, and fixing the problem won't be cheap either. The cost to repair all of the streets is about $26 million. And the city of Robbinsdale this weekend has to do a fix of its own. A major water main that feeds Crystal, New Hope, and Golden Valley ruptured in Robbinsdale Thursday night. It flooded basements of nearby homes and forced city officials to reroute traffic. Drivers were asked to avoid 42nd Avenue between the railroad tracks and Highway 100.
County Road 9 is a major thoroughfare through our city, and any time a major thoroughfare is disrupted, that causes a little bit of chaos.
It's not the first time a burst water main caused problems in Robbinsdale. Last year, a burst water main created a 20-foot sinkhole on 42nd Avenue near Bottineau Boulevard. It kept the road closed for 3 weeks. Questions about the future of MNsure continue this weekend after the top insurer of the state's online health insurance exchange announced it's dropping out. Golden Valley-based PreferredOne will stop providing insurance next year through MNsure. PreferredOne offered the lowest rates and had nearly 60% of MNsure customers. Those 30,000 PreferredOne customers will now have to look at other options since there's no guarantee they will be able to keep their coverage at the same cost. Open enrollment through MNsure begins in October. In our week in review, Golden Valley decides to put the brakes on plans for new single-family subdivisions. By a 3-2 vote, the City Council approved a 6-month moratorium on future subdivisions. It will give the city time to study the possibility of creating new zoning standards to preserve green space. Many residents have expressed concern about proposed subdivisions changing the character of neighborhoods. Brooklyn Center city officials helped celebrate the opening of a new medical clinic. North Memorial opened a clinic on Xerxes Avenue, a half-mile away from its former Brooklyn Boulevard location. Mayor Tim Wilson sees the clinic as a reinvestment in Brooklyn Center, also mentioning 10 new businesses opening up soon across the street at Shingle Creek Crossing. And it's full steam ahead for a new business park along the Highway 610 corridor in Brooklyn Park. Work has begun on a new 200,000 square foot office and warehouse building that is part of a development called 610 Commerce Center. The new building could house up to 3 companies. It will be finished in the spring. 2 other new buildings are also planned for the 610 Commerce Center. The final design is still a secret, but we're starting to get a picture of what the new mural will look like in downtown Robbinsdale. It's a nature-inspired outdoor scene that's about 60% complete. That's according to artist Sean McCann of Crystal. McCann hopes to have the mural finished up by October. He says it will include people and activities, but also a few hidden elements for people to discover. The project is a city effort to encourage the use of the plaza along West Broadway.
Hopefully the main goal is to brighten people's lives a little bit and bring some excitement and some color to downtown Robbinsdale here and really make it fun, especially I would hope in the winter when the snow is piled around the mural and there's this gateway to spring and summer.
The mural has a few local tributes, including the Robbinsdale logo and paint cans, recognizing the business that donated all of the paint. Coming up on 12 News Weekend, do blondes really have more fun? We'll have the football game that decides that coming up next. And later in sports, Armstrong's girls soccer team is enjoying a great season. We'll tell you about that. But first, what should be a beautiful day to start the work week. 70s and sunny on Monday. Welcome back, everybody. Chances are you know someone impacted by Alzheimer's disease. Every 67 seconds, someone in this country develops that condition, which statistics show is more likely to affect women than men. Delane Cleveland caught up with a group of Twin Cities women who are trying to tackle the disease by reigniting an age-old rivalry.
What I want to talk to you guys about is pass blocking.
Wednesday night at Corcoran Park in Minneapolis. Several dozen women fine-tune their football skills.
Practicing, making sure we're all set with our plays. We've been practicing for almost 3 months now.
To prepare for an epic battle.
Yes, we do need to get battle ready, all set for the big game.
Pitting the blondes versus the
brunettes. We're going to just take those blondes out. We're going to stop them in their tracks, and we're just going to, annihilate them.
Amanda Nybo of Golden Valley is one of the players on Team Brunette.
All right.
Matt Crossan of Maple Grove is one of the coaches.
We've got some pretty good athletes and pretty good coaches, so I feel pretty confident about our chances.
They've been practicing twice a week since July for a big game against Team Blonde at Concordia University in St. Paul. All proceeds benefit the Alzheimer's Association.
Our motto is we're trying to tackle Alzheimer's, and it is a disease that is devastating.
Brianna Olson would know. 7 years ago, her mother was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's at age 58.
She's still living at home and doing very well, but we are seeing the disease progress.
Her mother can now only drive short distances, has trouble completing tasks, and loses memories mid-sentence.
It takes an entire family to support them, so I'm also playing for her and also for my dad as her primary caregiver.
While only about 10 of the women here have had their families directly impacted by the disease, everyone believes in the cause.
We just want to tackle this disease.
That means that somebody's going to be wide open.
They also want to win and put an end to the rumor that blondes have more fun.
No, that's a misnomer. That is not true. As you can see from behind me here, brunettes are having a whole lot of fun.
In Minneapolis, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Looks like fun. The blondes and brunettes have raised nearly $130,000 this year for the local Alzheimer's Association chapter. Good for them. Coming up, the official start of fall is Monday. Can you believe it? We have some fall tips for your garden after the break. But first, the Providence Academy football team will have a new home field. Just not yet. That's coming up in sports with Jay Wilcox. Time for sports, and Jay, we're starting with a team that kind of snuck up on everybody.
Yeah, I don't think this was a team that everybody was talking about before the season being a top contender, but that's why you play the games, and they're having a great season. Well, they weren't getting a lot of notice statewide entering this season, but the Armstrong girls soccer team entered the weekend without a loss, and the Falcons are enjoying the ride.
Falcons on 3, 1, 2, 3, Falcons!
When you've passed the halfway point of the schedule and are still undefeated like the Armstrong girls, it's something to be excited about.
I'm really excited. We're clicking this year super duper well, and we're just building really good team chemistry, which transfers to the field, and then we just play really well together.
Winning is fun, but also being consistent and having like good effort and good games constantly is a lot of fun too, so it's been enjoyable.
The Falcons aren't flawless with a 6-0-3 record heading into Tuesday night, but they've played consistently well even in the 3 ties. The biggest win? Knocking off Maple Grove in a game televised here on Channel 12.
We were really excited. We came into the game just really nervous, I don't know, but we just came in fearless, just respect all, fear none. Came in and pulled out the win.
After finishing in the middle of the Northwest Suburban Conference and slightly under 500 overall last fall, it took a while for the Falcons to get any notice, despite the good start this year. They're now ranked 9th in the state. They believed it would be a good team coming into the season, and that certainly hasn't changed.
It is a surprise sometimes, but it's like not surprising when you look at like the group of girls we have and just how we play and the talent. So when you look at it, no, like we're a talented group, so we're excited about it.
We just keep moving forward and just keep working toward that goal we set at the beginning of the season, which is state, and hopefully we can get there. It'd be the first time since '07, I believe, for Armstrong, so that would be fantastic. But to get to state, it's a lot of skill and a lot of luck.
Now the push is on to contend for conference and section titles for Armstrong. The Falcons added conference wins over Osseo and Champlain Park this week. Well, a slew of injuries, including 2 season-ending ACL tears to players, have hurt Wayzata's girls soccer team. The Trojans facing Minnetonka in the first of their 2 regular season meetings. Less than 3 minutes in, Wayzata's Megan Schwartz delivers a great corner kick to the front of the Tonka net. Kaylin Billmeyer knocks it in from the mass of players, and it's 1-0 Trojans. Later in the first half, Tonka's Kippen Keller with a direct free kick blasts a shot in for her 7th goal of the season. That one ties it up at 1. It stays that way for a long time in overtime. A good chance here for Minnetonka, but they are denied. And the Trojans will get the game winner a minute later. Addison Clark lines up a shot. She'll put it just under the crossbar for a goal. Wayzata beats Minnetonka 2-1 in OT. In the boys' match, same schools, both teams unbeaten coming in. A good effort by Minnetonka's Andres Grancio as he battles through 4 Wayzata defenders and puts it away for a 1-0 Skipper's lead. Later in the first half, a good pass, and Josh Greiner shields the defender before slipping the shot in. Third-ranked Minnetonka is up 2-0 at halftime. Wayzata gets back in it, though, on a great give-and-go. Arthur Perrins takes the return pass, and he goes in alone to bury it. It's 2-1 early in the second half. After Minnetonka goes up 3-1, the Trojans' Clay Elmore slips a shot through Skipper's keeper Max Moline's hand, and it's 3-2 with just over a minute left. But Greiner adds an insurance goal for the Skippers. They hand Wayzata its first loss, 4-2. After 4 straight road games, the Providence Academy football team comes home for Week 5. But their new field and stadium won't be done yet. Construction delays mean the Lions won't play here till at least the end of the regular season or in the playoffs. A new turf field, track, and stands will go in along with footings for doming the field in the winter. Right now, though, all they can do is wait.
Late start, yeah, wet spring combined with a late frost out, road restrictions stayed on, so they've been going as fast as they can. I know they've been here on Saturdays when we've had film and doing some of that, so we know they're working hard, so we're hoping for the best.
Until the new field is ready, Providence will play its home football games on the school's west soccer field, which does have stands and a press box to use. Their first home game there will be September 26th against St. Paul Academy. And I know some of the other schools in the area went through this back a few years when they were getting the new stadiums in, and sometimes all you can do is watch for the progress and wait till it happens.
They're just itching to get in there.
That's right.
Thanks, Jay. It's not time to give up on planting out in your garden just yet. Up next, some planting ideas to have your garden ready for spring. And that's when we come back. Now here's a little trivia for you. LBJ was president, the Beatles topped the charts, and G.I. Joe became a boys' toy staple. That year, 1964, the same year Palmer Lake Elementary first opened. With Roy Orbison's Pretty Woman playing in the background, also a 1964 hit, Palmer Lake celebrated 50 years this week. Teacher Erica Pierce experienced some of the school's history. She attended Palmer Lake and is now a teacher there.
I think it's neat for our community to have a school that has lasted this long and still very busy in our area. We get lots and lots of students every year. We're almost at capacity nearly every year.
Erica has added to the school's history with her own family. Her daughters also attended Palmer Lake. Fall officially arrives on Monday, but that doesn't mean you have to stop playing out in your garden. Sonia Goins goes in the garden to show us how your mums can make your garden magnificent.
There are mums, asters, flowering kale, pansies. They'll all take mild frost.
There are plenty of colors you can put in your fall garden.
I just love fall, and it just adds a lot of color and to the house.
Mulch them heavily with 4 to 6 inches of mulch.
Mums are the divas of fall flowers. Varieties like the Minnesota mum are hardy.
The Minnesota mums are a little bit more wild and have fewer blooms on them, but they're bigger.
And the blooms last for weeks.
The nice thing about the garden mums, they're a nice dome shape. They get lots and lots of buds.
Most of the mums you see this time of year are annuals because they are forced to grow right now. They also go well with summer flowers.
This year, a lot of my flowers from summer are still looking really good, so I'm just going to incorporate these into those and call it good.
Now is also the perfect time to plant bulbs.
Fall bulbs are always a great thing. You plant them now, they bloom in the spring. So these are things like your tulips, your daffodils, your alliums, your crocus, things like that.
The hardest thing about bulbs is getting them into the ground.
So with these tulips, they're saying that you want to plant them about 8 inches deep. Cover them over with soil and then leave them. With tulips, the easiest thing to remember is the pointed end goes up. Same thing with daffodils, the pointy end goes up.
Bulbs should be planted as soon as the soil turns cool. Do all the hard work now, and it will pay off later.
They just come up in the spring, and that's where you get your early spring color.
For In the Garden, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
And you should also consider covering your bulbs up with mesh or chicken wire to prevent those squirrels from getting at them. A tall fence will also help keep deer away from your bulbs. And Jay, I don't know if it's something that experts recommend, but one year, and it worked, I dipped my bulbs in cayenne pepper and hot sauce before I put them in the ground.
Any remedy to keep those critters away, because it's tough.
And if they got at them, they were really thirsty. I don't know, but it worked that year. So good luck with your gardens. And that's all the time we have for now, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here Monday at 4 o'clock.